You have lived roughly 11,000 days if you are 30 years old, but if you stop and think about the last 5 years, why does it feel like a 30-second trailer for a movie you barely remember? Your brain is actively trying to delete your life, not because it's broken, but because it's designed to be efficient to the point of being ruthless. Think about the last time you were a child. Summer felt like an absolute eternity, and a single day could feel like an entire week of adventure. This isn't just nostalgia. It is what scientists call the time unit paradox, and it is the first clue into why your adult life feels like it's being played at double speed. As a child, your brain was a recording machine, capturing every new experience because everything was a first. The first time you saw a frog, the first time you tasted a specific fruit, or the first time you felt the sting of a scraped knee. Because your brain had to process all these brand new data points, time expanded to accommodate the sheer volume of information being encoded into your neurons. But then you grew up, and you fell into the trap of the routine. You eat the same breakfast, take the same commute, sit in the same chair at the office, and scroll through the same 3 apps before bed. To your brain, these moments are expensive noise. Your brain is an energy-hungry organ, consuming roughly 20% of your daily calories just to keep your thoughts running. It cannot afford to waste mental energy recording a file it already has 1,000 copies of, so it stops recording. It hits the delete button on your mundane Tuesday afternoons before the sun even sets, leaving you with what I call time blindness. When your days blur together, your brain literally skips these moments, meaning that when you look back, the highlight reel of your last 5 years is almost entirely blank. The science behind this is fascinating and a little bit scary. Your brain measures time not by a clock, but by the density of new experiences it has to process. This is why your internal dishwasher for thoughts, the system that clears out metabolic waste while you sleep, ends up washing away the memory of your entire work week because there was nothing worth keeping in the filter. We have created the first generation in human history that gets exhausted from sitting still, staring at screens that provide a constant stream of high-stimulation junk food for the brain, yet we provide no actual nutrition in the form of novel experiences. This is the hidden tax of the modern workday. You spend your energy like it's Black Friday on tiny annoyances and micro-frustrations, the notification pings, the passive-aggressive emails, the fluorescent lighting, but none of these things are memorable. You are wired but tired, running on a flat line of medium tired all day long, which prevents you from ever reaching the peak states of focus or creativity that actually stick in your memory. Your brain treats every Slack notification like a tiger attack, keeping your nervous system in a constant state of fight or flight. But since there is no actual story to the danger, the memory of it is discarded as soon as the chemical surge of cortisol dissipates. What's even more disturbing is how this connects to what researchers call the Calhoun effect. Well, in a famous experiment called Universe 25, mice were given a paradise with unlimited food and no predators. Yet they eventually stopped mating, stopped socializing, and essentially opted out of life because their existence lacked friction and meaningful roles. Our modern routines are a form of this paradise. We have removed the friction of survival, but in doing so, we have removed the signals that tell our brain, this moment matters. When you have nothing hard to do and no new ground to break, your social fabric and your personal identity begin to dissolve into a listless pool of bodies doing nothing but grooming their digital profiles. And so, how do we stop the deletion? How do we reclaim the last 5 years and ensure the next 5 don't vanish into the same black hole? The solution isn't to work harder or manage your time better, it's to manage your novelty. You need to perform what I call time alchemy. The first step is hacking your brain's recording system by introducing strategic novelty into your daily routines. Take a different route to work tomorrow. Learn a new skill every single month, even if you're strategically bad at it, just to keep your brain flexible and forced to pay attention. Have conversations with strangers. Each one is a walking library of stories that forces your brain to engage with unpredictable data. These aren't just fun activities. They are biological triggers that tell your hippocampus, hey, stop hitting delete, we need to save this file. Second, you must understand the 80-20 life principle of memory. Roughly 20% of your activities produce 80% of your meaningful memories. Identify those vital 20% and double down on them. Cut the expensive noise of the other 80%. The mindless scrolling and the tasks that feel important but don't actually move the needle on your growth. If most of what you do is waste, that means you can cut it and barely notice the loss, but you will notice the massive influx of mental clarity, Third, create focus tunnels and attention sanctuaries. Your focus is a muscle, and every time you switch between tabs or check a notification, you pay a switching cost that drains your cognitive battery. A distracted brain is a weak brain that cannot form long-term memories. By practicing uninterrupted focus for just 20 minutes a day, you are literally rewiring your brain to become sharper, calmer, and more capable of recording the depth of your life. Finally, you must bridge the implementation gap. Wisdom without action isn't wisdom, it's just trivia. You can watch 100 videos about productivity, but unless you implement one tiny change today, your brain will treat this information as just more digital noise to be deleted tomorrow. The goal isn't to accumulate more knowledge, but to need less of it, because you are finally embodying what you already know. Your life isn't short. You are just sleeping through the parts that feel repetitive. The 30,000-day clock is ticking, and every day you spend on autopilot is a day your brain has already marked for deletion. Stop being a control freak about your time and start being a surfer on the waves of your energy and novelty. Here is my challenge to you. Don't just finish this video and move to the next. Identify one small experiment you can run in your life today. A new route, a new conversation, or 20 minutes of deep focus. Break the loop. Force your brain to pay attention, because 30 years from now, you won't wish you had been more productive at the office. You will wish you had been there for the Tuesday afternoons you let your brain throw away. The wisdom is already within you, and the manual is now in your hands. Go build your momentum and stop the deletion. If you found this insight into your brain's delete button valuable, hit the subscribe button and join our inner circle to help us continue exploring the science of an intentional life. Let me know in the comments, what is the one thing you're going to do today to make your brain stop hitting delete?